to Fair Game. I'm Christine Leahy. My guest today is an assistant coach with the San Francisco 49ers and just the second woman in NFL history to hold a full-time coaching position. Katie Sowers, it's so good to meet you.
It's so great to be here.
I'm really excited to talk to you, and I'm grateful that you came in too. But you were a football fan since you were really young, and you kept a journal, right? And when you were 8 years old, you wrote how much you loved and wanted to play football.
Yep.
What was it about football at such a young age that you were so drawn to it?
You know, I don't even, thinking back, I don't even know what it was that drew both my twin sister and I to the game, because my dad, he was a college basketball coach. My mom was not involved in football at all, but literally everything that I wrote about in my school journals was about going and playing football. You know, everything was surrounding tackling, how good I want to be. I want to play on a real team. I mean, it was all about football, but it was just a natural love.
Did your parents like football? You were just watching it a lot?
They liked football. My dad was a huge sports guy, but
Okay.
he never played. I mean, so it was a time when I was a huge Cowboys fan, and my twin sister was a huge Broncos fan. That's kind of how they were the powerhouse teams at the time, and they were always on the TV, and I think that's kind of how we fell in love.
So when you were young, obviously there was no formal way for you and your sister to play football. So you guys got your neighbors involved, and you tried to play in the backyard. Is that right?
Yeah, we would literally after every Sunday dinner. So my grandma would make this big Sunday dinner after church, and my twin sister and I would go to my grandma's room in the back and just list out all of the neighbor kids. And we would literally go through every kid, and I remember calling them on, the phones with the cords, and we'd call every single one. Most of them couldn't come out and play, or they claimed they couldn't come out and play. But we'd get as many as we could, and we'd have a game every Sunday.
Boys and girls?
It was all boys.
All boys.
All boys were the ones that we called. I don't know if we were being judgmental, if the girls just didn't want to play.
That's an interesting point, actually.
It is.
So you wanted to go up against the boys, and I heard you made them cry.
Yeah, there were a couple instances. So I had this really great tackling form. It was unique. I would take them by the shirt and spin them around, throw them down. A lot of them did not like that.
I'm sure.
And would choose to be a referee, maybe to save face. But girls mature a little bit earlier than boys do, so I will give them that benefit of the doubt. But I taught a lot of them how to throw the football, taught a lot of them how to play.
So you're coaching at a very young age.
I was.
It was always going to be happening for you. And then when nobody would play with you guys, it was just you and your sister, right? And you put on pads and tackled each other.
Yep. I remember going head to head, and we would see how hard we could hit each other. Two typical girls playing in the backyard, playing football.
Were your parents always supportive of all that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I really admire about them, their unconditional love, not only for who their children are as people, but their interests as well. And they never second guessed what we loved. And even though it might not go with societal norms, they always had our back 100% of the time.
So when you told them that you actually wanted to play football, do you remember their reaction?
I remember my mom being worried that we would get hurt, and she'd say, "Why can't you just be interested in golf?" Or something like that. But it was never because of any stereotypical conversations. It was more this fear of the unknown, because football had never really been a part of our life before at an organizational level. But she knew that we loved it, and so although sometimes she would try to, what about rowing? What about golf? She had our back 100% of the time.
So what sports did you play in high school?
So in high school, I played volleyball, basketball, track and field. And then in college, I played 4 years of basketball, a year of soccer, a year of softball, and 2 years of track and field.
So especially in high school, because I know it happened in college, but in high school, even though you couldn't play football, were you still focused on it and thinking, okay, maybe I can coach?
No, I actually remember my senior year of high school, the varsity football coach came up and was trying to convince my twin sister and I to play football. But for me, I would have loved to play football if there was a girls' team, if if boys and girls were separated, but that was never an option. And so for me, I would rather play a sport that I felt like I could get a college scholarship in, and that was going to be either volleyball or basketball or track and field. And so that's where I really spent my time.
So there's this thing that happened when you were in college. You were given the opportunity to be a volunteer coach. And this is crazy to me. I believe it, but I can't even believe this stuff happens. You were told that you couldn't have this position because of your sexual orientation.
Yep.
What'd they say to you?
Yeah, so it was actually when I had just finished up my basketball career, playing. My 4 years of eligibility were done, so I was on my victory lap, and I started playing track and field for fun. And I also was thinking, well, I really want to get my coaching career started.
Okay.
So I went to my basketball coach, actually, who had given me, I was a team captain all the years that I had played. I was a leader on the team, and I knew that they were low on staff, they were low on practice players, and I actually emailed him and I said, would this be an opportunity where I could be a volunteer coach? I didn't even think that there was, a chance for a no, but he responded saying just to come into his office to talk about it. And what he told me was that because of my lifestyle, that he didn't want me around the team, and that when I was on his team, I was someone that he would protect, but now that I'm not, there's not much he can do about it. And there were prospective students' parents that were concerned that if there was a lesbian coach, that their daughter might catch the gay or whatever it might be, because people might think it's contagious or whatever it was. But for some reason, they didn't want me around.
What was your reaction to that?
My reaction was shocked at first, shocked, but yet not shocked, if that's even possible, because the school at the time, and this was not even that long ago, didn't even allow professors to be out if they were gay.
Was it a religious school?
It was a religious school.
Okay.
It was a Mennonite school. And at that time, it was kind of a don't ask, don't tell type of thing. And professors were not allowed to be out. And gay and lesbian students it was basically like secret group meetings where, they never said where the meetings were going to be. It was just really secretive, just to help people keep their privacy. There was another school in the division that I played. I had a really good friend who played basketball, got kicked off the team at her school because they found out she was gay. She lost her whole scholarship. And this was 2008, 2007.
That's crazy to me that still happens.
Yeah.
Did you say anything in the room to him?
I didn't. And he stood. I remember standing up and he said, "This is nothing personal," and he gave me a hug. And I remember kind of giving him a hug back, but trying to keep the tears from rolling out of my eyes. And I remember walking out of the door and immediately calling my mom and crying to my mom. And my mom, the amazing, forgiving, loving woman that she is just, saying, it's okay. Like, you're gonna be fine. And when she hung up, she literally called me back about 3 minutes later, and she was crying, and she was like, this is not okay. I'm so sorry you went through this. This is not okay. But there was really nothing we could really do at the time. I mean, it was basically allowed at that school.
The thing was, it is personal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely it is. But I think we oftentimes religion is a good excuse to discriminate. And I think we all kind of have this preconceived idea because of religion, and sometimes it pushes people away from religion. And it's important to seek first to understand. And that's what I've tried to do from that day, is not assume. I was never angry. I was never mad at the coach. I was more just sad at the ignorance and sad at the discrimination that I felt because of it.
Did you feel shut down at all, or are you immediately motivated?
I did. I felt like basketball I felt like it killed the drive and the love and the interest of basketball for me. But from that point, if that wouldn't have happened, I don't think I would be here today coaching football. I think if that would have happened, I would have been content coaching basketball, finding a basketball job, But because of that door kind of slamming in my face, it forced me to look elsewhere. And that's where I found a women's tackle football league in the area and started playing football and kind of found my first love all over again.
Check out our YouTube channel, Fair Game on FS1, to catch all the best highlights of our show. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.